If you want to stay current on the latest in the crypto ecosphere and learn more about blockchain, NFTs, and cryptocurrencies, you've come to the right place. I'm Nate Harper, and this is Forged in Crypto. Before we dive into today's episode, take a moment to follow at Forged in Crypto on Twitter to stay aware of all things happening in the crypto and NFT space. Try this podcast again. We have I don't know how many recorded, 700
something
or so.
like that. Yeah.
I will say this. I'm never going to buy really nice equipment again. I'm just going to use the shitty stuff I used to use, 2 years ago because it was way easier. Shit was recorded.
And it worked.
Nightmare. That's too complicated for me. I'm just a simpleton. But regardless of that, we're here. We're going to talk about some shit. Spider tanks.
Yeah. AMA was pretty interesting last night.
For sure. There's some good stuff to talk about there. We'll probably talk about some EVIO. We'll probably look at some charts and just kind of BS a little bit. But first, since really this is going to be hopefully the first one everybody actually listens to, I want you to introduce yourself around the table, and we'll just go from my left. We'll start with you, Michael.
Okay. I'm Michael Barr, ER Crypto. And yeah, I've been doing charting for a little while, technical analysis, and happy to share my thoughts.
Hey, everybody. My name's Blake Edwards. I am pretty recent graduate of the U of O, and I've had the really cool opportunity to work with these guys and really glean a lot of information from them and help assist them in a bunch of avenues of research and looking more into this cool blockchain Web3 space.
And U of O is the University of Oregon, not some weird school like Oklahoma, Ohio, some random one out there.
Go Ducks, baby.
Go Ducks. We're West Coast people, so you'll hear a lot of that, especially now football season starting up. Kind of excited.
A week and a half.
It's this week.
Oh,
Georgia is this week.
Isn't it this week?
It is.
Yeah, we have.
No, it's next weekend. It's
Well,
Labor Day weekend.
Don't we have games starting this weekend?
I think the first
right.
Oregon game.
Hold on.
I think
Here, pull it up.
we could look
pull
this
it up
up
online. What do you got? Pull it up?
I got.
I'm trying to go on my phone. Nobody can see my phone.
I got it.
September 1st.
First game is for the Ducks is against Georgia, September 3rd.
Right. I'm just saying college football starts on the 1st.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
We're both right. I'm more right, but that's fine. All right. Well, let's see. First thing, I'm just going to talk about this. Well, two things. So I help people out every once in a while, just kind of get into markets and talking about them, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, stuff like that. And so this is a very confusing chart if people were to look at it. But I had a friend of mine who came in yesterday. We sat down and just going over just basics of charting. And we, as of yesterday, I should pull up I'm going to go into my Discord real quick here because I'm going to pull up the chart from yesterday that I posted. So people can see this one. So this one we were working on yesterday.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what we were trying to find is some short-term trades, fairly safe trades, nothing too crazy. Just trying to see a little trend reversal, capture a little bit of a move. And he had some ape coin that he had bought before, and was like, and then we're just going through his coins, and I was like, oh, this looks like it might be a decent setup. And so we kind of walked through it, and really, it is just kind of going from top to bottom, watching where it has gone and where it's looking to go. We mapped out a few, high liquidity levels to figure out where this range, the larger range is. That's when we're looking at the red boxes.
Yep.
And then within that, we just brought it down on a lower time frame to look at, is there an actual trade potential? And so when we were done, we looked at it here, and we wanted to have buys in at the purple lines here. So 511, 505, and then our invalidation would be a breakdown of essentially this trend line. If it actually ended up being a trend line, really you want, a few more hits if it's going to be there.
Yeah.
And so invalidating below that, the trade itself. So as you can see, it turned out fairly well. Almost both of them hit. So let me actually zoom in a little bit here so we can. So this is the problem when you look at liquidity zones, and that's where you put your buy orders in.
Mm-hmm.
If it's right on it, you're making it the highest liquidity zone in that area, it's going to get front run lots of times. Or, and again, if you use it as a stop loss, it could get used as a stop hunt. So I like to spread bid orders out throughout this. So I think he only got filled in one spot here, which is fine. I mean, he's just starting out, so it was great kind of learning experience to see how it went. And this was overnight, this crazy 4-hour candle. I didn't expect this. I expected a little bit more of a, time frame to kind of push this up. So, and no, that was not me. I don't have that much liquidity to buy this up. So,
did he take profits?
Not yet, because the profit zone that we were looking at was up here in the 560 to 570 mark. Ultimately, the hypothesis, the theory is this wasn't a super high liquidity zone. It's definitely a spot where we'd see it turn around, and it was just really pinged off of this lower zone here.
Yeah.
Which obviously went right to it. But what we want to see is this zone above the white line turn into a support, which is exactly what's doing here. And if you kind of draw that out, you can kind of see that that's probably going to be some sort of trend line there. But we just want this to look at being the new support moving forward, which, seeing how these next few candles play out, we might see this push up over the weekend. That'd be a pretty quick trade, a little quicker than I thought. But, I mean, you never know how these crypto markets are going to move. So,
sure.
But that was just a fun one. Overall, the market, I think, is looking very similar. What do you got up over there, Michael? Which one are you?
So I got just the usual. Bitcoin is up right now. I had drawn out these channels here. It had been in this kind of like nice upward channel, and then it broke. Now, a lot of the times when it breaks out, it'll go into a new channel and will reflect, the same one. I'm honestly not sure if that is going to hold true on the downside, but that's what I drew this here, and I'm sort of seeing if it stays within this range. I'm still not trading Bitcoin today. I'm still kind of waiting to see where we go because, this is a really strong support right around here, and it's just kind of riding this line, and I'm waiting to see if it will, break out of there. I'll be more bullish. If it breaks below there, I think it could easily, fall to 18. I think.
Let me ask you a question. You're a legacy market guy. You do a lot of options and that kind of thing. You have some weird stuff under the bottom there, the CCI and the stock.
Yes.
Stochastics.
Yeah.
So tell me about those.
So those are just things that I use to kind of get momentum. CCI is kind of a nice momentum indicator. I learned this from AJ Monte. He's at Market Rebellion, and these are the kind of things he uses. And I basically did all of his stuff for a year and kind of adopted this kind of trading. And so this works better with legacy than crypto, but it also works with crypto. This zero line, this is kind of simple. We all like simple. If it crosses that line, it tends to go for 2 to 4 days in that direction. And so when you see it like break through here, like right around here, you'd be like, okay, I think it's going down. I'm going to consider a short for at least 2 to 4 days. And then sure enough, you look up at the charts and, that was a good signal that it, tanked on the next candle. So that's the CCI. Stochastics.
So you're seeing a good correlation with the CCI into the crypto markets versus the legacy markets then?
Yeah, I use it for legacy because it's best. That's what I've used it for, and that's what it's best for. But
you have it up here on the crypto charts. So I'm assuming you use it there.
I use it for crypto, and I like it. I know it's not something you use as much, but I like it for momentum.
I use all the good stuff.
You taught me the VPBR, which is this, which I really like as far as just giving you an idea of where those liquidity zones are. And so I'm kind of holding to this one. It's
looking like it might hold.
Yeah, I think it might.
Hopefully.
Yep. And then I look at the Qs. I have a
what is this gross stuff you're talking about?
You want me to not talk about
legacy? You're fine. I'm just messing with you.
So I got a leap on this. It's some of the option stuff I do. So I have a leap with a $300 strike price, and then I'll sell calls against it at lines of resistance.
Chris will probably be happy that you're talking about legacy and options and stuff. So
yeah, I mean it's kind of fun. You can have more outs, when you use options, when you know how to use them the right way. And I tend to always try to sell options and collect on that premium. Usually, while I'm waiting for a stock to move one way or another.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, are you in any trades at all right now?
Legacy wise or crypto wise?
Anything.
What
do you got, man?
Let's see. I'm in the queues. I got that leap position, so I'm cautiously bullish, but collecting premium as I'm doing it. I just sold some calls today at around, I think it was at this price, $345, just to collect premium on that. Let's see. I haven't done any new trades this week. I was in the BBY one last week and did pretty well on that. Let's see. Let's look at that.
Yeah, the BBY. I didn't get in any of those.
Yeah, it was just one of those pumps. It was just one of those. I was in GameStop the first time and the second time, and it's really dangerous because they just run it, and so
yeah, it's a tough one to find to get out. It's just like in crypto when you're getting these bull runs, and you might be able to throw a fib level on there, you might be able to throw a liquidity level, but in all actuality, those things will go higher than you think, and they're going to go lower than you think when it really starts to rip. So.
Yeah, and a lot of times, it seems like, just personal experience, sometimes you jump in and then it immediately reverses.
Yeah.
It seems like it happens all the time.
Yeah.
This one was better. I got in, I think it was at 12.89. I got in right around, actually, I think it was 12.54, actually. It was right around here. And then, it got up pretty high. I got out, I think around 18. That was my profit. So, a nice little return.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. Nice. Well, Blake, what do you got over there? What are you trading on? You throwing a ton of money in the college money getting crazy for you over there?
Not yet. At this point, I mean, I'm really just more trying to use the types of indicators that you guys have been using and seeing if I go home and I'm doing my own analysis and then I come back the next day and talk to you, am I looking in the right avenue? Am I using Ichimoku clouds in the right types of ways, looking at indicators the right ways, so that's where mine don't necessarily have the capital at this point to be trading on your guys' level, but especially within the options world as well. That's something that's been, incredibly interesting to me, throughout school, as, talking with Michael. So it's interesting to see your guys's, the amount of knowledge you guys have surrounding this space.
Well, let's look at EG Cloud. I haven't looked at the EG Cloud in a while. This one's kind of a messy one. I just have a whole bunch of junk on this. Maybe I'll take the EG Cloud off real quick. So I just keep this one up and running. I've had this one up and running for a long time. Just kind of looking at where is there going to be another pattern that we're going to follow here? This whole thing's been really weird from the get-go. But let me pull up a different one so we can be a little bit cleaner. Let's see the EG Cloud here. So weeklies. Oh, we got there. The thing I don't trade on crypto, I don't trade the weekly EG Cloud, the Ichimoku Cloud.
Why not?
Well, I'll use it for certain indicators, only because it lags so much. In both ways. So the reality of what I like to use the Ichimoku Cloud is, if I'm spot on something and I'm just really wanting to capture the majority of the move, whether it's up or down, I'll use it on probably the 3 day is probably the highest I'll go. Mostly the daily. I'll use weekly for levels that you'll see. And when I say levels, I'm talking about, some support resistance levels, like big, long, flat lines in the cloud. You can see here and there, or down here in the bottom, you can see long, flat lines in the cloud that'll act as support and resistance. And so I just kind of get a gauge. Obviously, we're bearish on the weekly. It just turned red, so that's the final nail in the coffin of where we're sitting at, and
but that's on the weekly.
So if you're really trying to catch a move, you're trading on the weekly, you're waiting for this thing to get above here, and it doesn't make as much sense because when you're in here, and when you're out, you would have been fully out now, right? Just a little bit ago when it changed over. So that move there, you're not catching as much.
Right.
But those levels, the support resistance levels, can actually play a little bit apart for trades. If we go down to the daily is a little bit easier and going to capture the majority of the move. You just have to monitor it a little bit more if you're actually using the daily.
Where is your lagging span?
I don't use lagging span as much. If I'm going to use the full deal, as in like, okay, I should be fully in. Normally, the lagging span is the first one that you're going to see is going to be your first entry of moving forward.
Yep.
And a lot of times I won't make that if I'm trading it personally. I've kind of accustomed it to a little bit more of my personal style. So, but I'll put it on there just so you can see it.
And then it's important to note that the crypto versus legacy settings for the Ichi Cloud is different, right?
And I almost want to argue that the settings almost can work for both. Legacy now, I mean, legacy really is almost not 24 hours, but you have the after hours.
You have a lot of trading before.
The biggest the biggest difference is going to come into play with like weekends and holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, sometimes I'll even put the both Ichi Clouds on a crypto one and see what's happening here, because we have a lot of stuff that's affecting crypto and legacy. I mean, it follows legacy.
Yeah.
So having both up here can help out in a longer time frame, or just in trades in general. It can get confusing if you don't know what you're looking at, but it definitely has this ability. So this would be the legacy cloud here. So for me, like if you're trading the legacy and this actually gets back up to here, you have a nice edge to edge potential as you get there, but it gets confusing. But I do like the ability to see where things stand just instantly. I can pull it up and be like, oh, yep, we're getting kind of closer to a potential move. We're showing some signs of bullishness.
And there's two different ways. There's like the 4 different indicators as far as putting in 25% at a time. Do you want to go over those?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Maybe that's a whole other video. And actually, I point him to somebody else that does it a lot clearer.
Fair.
Carpe Noctem, I think is his name. I can't remember. He's on YouTube. Maybe I'll link it. He goes over a really clear and concise way to kind of analyze the cloud. I've kind of, like I said, I use it the way it is, and I've adopted a few things personally to how I trade it. But the overall is easy to use and see like right away on any indice. You can pull it up and see, okay, where are we at? Bullish or bearish really quick. And then you can kind of narrow it down to where your entries are. Are you going to look for little trades in between there, in between, those time frames? So right now, I mean, this kind of is rolling with what Michael's chart was on his Bitcoin chart, which he doesn't have up.
I'll pull it up.
Just on the support levels, he has so many things on his though that his gets kind of stretched out a little bit further than mine. I like to see a lot more up and down action where it looks.
Yeah.
But that VPVR, that's this same. Ultimately, I'm assuming that's why I drew this here, this red box, because usually I'll take the largest.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the largest. Can you move your cursor over it, Michael? The largest bar that has the red bar going through it, that's your highest volume node in that local area. So I usually draw it out so I can take the VVVR off. It looks messy. And then I'll put my little box in there. It kind of shows that liquidity level. And you can see it dipped right down to it. Now we're showing some good reaction off of it in these candles here, these 4-hour candles.
Which is what you would have expected with, that amount of liquidity there. So it's good.
Right. Good trade opportunity. So this candle's a weird candle. Literally there was barely a wick on the top and barely a wick on the bottom.
Yeah.
You don't normally see that. That's an interesting one. So
is that called a Marabuso?
I don't know the names of candles.
I think that's what it's called. There's no wick.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very bearish usually. Although in this case it wasn't, right? From that candle.
And that's why I like candles, but again, I can't trade solely off candles because
absolutely.
In reality, what I'm really looking for is are they moving towards a liquidity zone that's going to capture a lot of that, money that's moving out, and show that support or resistance depending on where it goes. So, no, I kind of like where it's sitting here. We're not going to 0, so that's good. We're also not going to 100K tomorrow either. So That's my official
I
stance.
think you can stand by that.
Yes, I think we will go up or down, and I'll let you know exactly what it's going to do tomorrow after it's done it.
Yeah.
So,
We're not on CNBC. You don't need
Hindsight's 20/20.
Okay. Now I think I mean, overall and everything that we're looking at, this is on the daily. Everybody's hoping, everybody's, wondering, is this going to be the bottom? This, what I have drawn on here, this is the old previous all-time high, this 19697. It'll be a different number depending on what I'm on Coinbase here. If you're on Kraken or if you're on FTX, whatever it is, it's going to look a little different.
Yeah.
So, but in reality, you could see this was the stop on. The one I always like to point out too is we never got a retest of this all-time high on the higher time frames, right? So even if you go to the daily and you come back to this all-time high, it literally, once it finally pushed through, it never retested it ever. I think we might have got a tiny one on the 4 hour, if I remember right. Let's see if I can get to there. But normally when you see something move through an all-time high, or any type of support or resistance level, you usually get some sort of retest on some time frame. And on something like this, where it was a longer bear market, all-time high that pushed out, you would imagine there would have been some sort of retest of it.
Absolutely.
Pushing through on at least a daily level. I mean, and on this 4 hour level, you can see even there, I mean, that's not a retest. That's a push through. Some people call maybe that way. No, it's not a retest. That's literally just ripped through. There's no retest of this thing at all. So, I mean, now we have our retest, right? If we go to where we're sitting at now, it retested it, finally moved through, retested it. Everybody's going to love that because then,
And then on the daily, that's a W bottom, right? You want to go to the daily chart again?
Sure.
I mean, that, that kind of angled upward. I mean, that looks like a W.
It looks like a, somebody that has, some sort of like, he just started to learn how to draw a W, maybe. I mean,
just like the second part of the W is slightly higher than the other part. That's usually what you want. Not that one.
Look here, maybe this will help you out with a W bottom. There you go. That looks more like a W to me.
Yeah.
Just take the wicks off.
Exactly.
No, I can see that. Definitely looks like a lot of decent reaction. The volume though is pretty piss poor. I don't know. I'm 50-50 with where we're at currently. I actually say I'm a little more 60-40 that this is the bottom, maybe 75-25 actually.
Yeah.
I keep moving up. But only because we had so much bearish news and some massive liquidations of some high profile people that came through. So
yeah,
for me, I kind of like this as being a potential bottom. And even when we look at like 2019, right? In this, I think I tweeted out too, like before all this stuff came through in this round, I was like, this kind of just reminds me of November, just where things were going. Rips down, you get some reaction, but it still looks pretty bearish. When you're coming into this zone here, you're expecting, a lot of people were expecting this to be bearish as this moved down and down and down, right?
Yeah.
But as we got to this point at the bottom here, and we got this good reaction, we moved up through. It just, you saw it didn't come down to the lows. It finally got a good reaction above it. It probably has a decent fib level there, I'm sure, if I drew it out. So 786 from top to bottom, right? Yeah. So a lot of those things lined up that was going to be, the next move up. And then we went into this little 2019 run. So I think there's a lot of similarities with what we're looking at here. We kind of moved up. It's more sideways than straight up like it was before, but we'll see. I kind of like it where we're at here. We at least get some play. I think we're at least going to get some move back up into the low 30s.
Right.
And then we'll kind of see what happens from there. So let's see, Blake. What are we working on? What happened yesterday?
Spider Tanks
AMA.
Yeah.
Did you guys listen to it?
I did. It was interesting. I liked. I think I understood Bitbender's explanation of the maps and the planetary nodes, and that kind of made a little more sense to me. That the maps basically can be recycled a lot more, like go automatically back into the queue.
Yeah.
And that example he used made sense to me.
It definitely seemed a little. I wish they would have all been on the same page a little bit more and had maybe the structure of the way they were going to answer some of these questions lined out a little bit better. I mean, I get it. It's especially when they're, Bitbenders over in the Philippines, and
Yeah.
I get the.
I felt it could have been like 20 minutes instead of 64.
Yeah. And I think
So
also part of it is, it is a really confusing model. That's the thing that's hard about it is it's
Yeah.
really complicated to understand, because you can even look at, within the white paper, you can go down to they give a kind of a graphical.
It's called a light paper, by the way.
Oh, light paper.
There is a difference.
Yeah, this one's not finalized, I guess. They're still making
it. Never will be. Well, and actually, white papers are used for financial institutions. And so if you call it a white paper, you kind of lay yourself out there.
Put yourself in a bad spot.
Got it.
But either way, this is the, kind of the flow diagram they have outlined within their updated light paper. And it's, it's just complicated. There's a lot of moving parts. I think the one thing is they're trying to create a really sustainable and conservative economy off of the front end, which I think is really valuable. But that being said, it is just, there's a lot of questions from the community, especially since we don't have any tangible examples of how this works.
Oh, for sure. And I think obviously being a large part of that community and listening and, having a bunch of tanks on my own as well, like it's a very complex system that they're putting into place, right? Apparently they have these magic economists that are great at doing things. Maybe, we'll see what happens with it. I'm excited. I can see the vision now. And really, there was the one point that made it clear to me. And usually, it's with a lot of people, sometimes it just clicks. And it was when it was explained that it's all dependent on the amount of games that are played per day.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then there's going to be portions that are going to be laid out. And so that was fine. I think there's a couple things to be learned here. One is they knew going into it what a lot of the questions were going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And they should have had a little bit more
dialogue.
I honestly, a diagram, right? There's some people that are just like, it's visual as well. Like if they want to help explain things, just put a diagram together that is a little bit more clear and concise of what's going to happen here. And we have this diagram that's on the flow diagram, right? Which shows essentially where things are coming. But if you can simplify something to help them understand a little bit more, it makes it easier.
Yep.
I mean, this is a very complex system. I mean, for me, if they're putting this much effort and work into this system itself, it's not for a quick hit program. It's not for a rug pull, right? They're not sending this out here to fail. They're trying to make this an economy that's going to last and be a great economy and benefit everybody that's players within the system.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the non-inflationary, where only the burned silk from the previous day is, the amount that's available to be distributed the following day.
Mm-hmm.
I do worry about launch day, because if the previous day
didn't
burn
exist.
any silk because it
Right.
doesn't exist,
Right.
you're going to be starting out with 0 rewards. And so presumably everybody will play day one anyway, and then hopefully burn some silk, and hopefully the system gets going. But it might be nice if Gala sort of adjusted that just a little bit and, at least distributed some silk to the players at least the first day or something to get it started.
Well, that was brought up. I can't remember if something was said about that. Because I was following the AMA and the Discord channel, which was interesting to follow. Pods were obviously a hot button subject that kind of just got pushed to the side because they saw there was a lot of people upset with it, which, look, I was one of the first people to post it in the Platinum channel of, what's this? Why are we having to pay for pods? If we are, here, and it just seemed like another money grab. And I was just quick to point it out because that's what it seemed like. And if I'm feeling that way, I know a lot of other people are feeling the same way. So I'm a pretty patient person when it comes to most things. And he explained it in the Discord channel and in the discussion that it was Do you remember? Did they say it in the actual AMA? I can't remember.
They talked a little bit about it. I mean, the way that Bitbender was describing it is, it's sort of a way for your higher level tanks to potentially get in the game a little bit more frequently, because if you have like a common tank, you're not going to pay for a pod necessarily to place it in game. But if you have something that might earn more, like an ancient tank, you're willing to pay for an extra pod to be able to play that sooner. Sooner in the queue, essentially. So I could see that potentially being a benefit.
Well, they're going to lay more stuff out on that. They didn't really cover as much as they wanted to in there. So I'm expecting some more info from that. That was Robotron. He tried to answer the question. It just kind of came out. And so we'll hopefully see a little bit more coming from there.
Yeah, it's one of those ones to me where I understand it, and part of their reasoning for this as well was they didn't want just the players that had those whales out there that do hold a lot of tanks. They wanted to be able to open up the ability to rent out to everyone in the community. At the same time, though, they've in the get-go months ago, they incentivized and told people, hey, buy up all these tanks, you'll have the ability to rent them.
Right.
And now you have to pay additional to rent those out. So, it kind of brings in that microtransaction model, which I've seen across so many different games. And I know everyone into those games, the community, there's backlash.
Well, and that was the biggest backlash that was there. It's like, we've been early supporters.
Yep.
Right. I mean, myself,
you especially,
Timbo, a ton of us out here have bought a lot of tanks, and we're super excited about Spider tanks, and we still are. I mean, the game's going to be badass. Like it's a fun game.
Yeah.
But when it came out, it just, in the communication, that's been one of the biggest ones, right?
Yep.
Is it made it feel like, and I, in all honesty, I still don't feel like it's explained enough on the pods wise, like realistically.
Not at all.
So
this is all the information that we have from a tangible standpoint about it right now. Unless you're listening to the AMAs and getting that audio information, this is all that's out there.
So, and again, for me, I'm like, I'm there. I'm not jumping off ship. I'm waiting for some more information to see what's going to happen. I'm confident that they are putting the time and effort in to make it beneficial for everybody throughout. They've done that from day one. Like things change all the time. And one thing that they're doing that makes it really difficult on their part is they're very open. They're very in front of the community,
right?
Having AMAs, throwing stuff out there, like allowing us to have a voice actually that comes into play. And you don't get that. Go get into any other traditional game that's coming out there and have your voice be heard.
Yep.
No,
it's not.
That doesn't happen.
And then when you add blockchain, Web3, crypto on top of that, you're adding this light speed expectation on top of everything. So, and the Roy boys is fine, but they're a part of the system. They're going to be there. They're there. And you have to deal with it. We just wait for information. That's what you do.
And I think one thing as well that they mentioned of trying to support these early adopters and not keep them on the sidelines, like I think a lot of them has felt. And I kind of want to hear your perspective of being a node owner. The ability to upgrade your nodes, and the ability to the node depot where you can attach your NFTs, certain NFTs to nodes, and then you can earn additional percentages from your daily node distribution. But then does that just further, okay, now you have to buy a node too?
Yeah. And that's, where it comes into play here is let's look at, past history of nodes, and we can look at Townstar nodes, right?
Yeah, those haven't worked out very well.
No, not yet. Now, will they? I'm fairly confident that they'll add some. There's some cool stuff you can do with nodes. I mean, there's some really cool stuff that you can have happen, and I think they're trying to implement some of that stuff right away, which is great. I own maps, so it would behoove me, from what I understand, to own a node to pair with said maps, right? So I am going to buy some nodes. I will run them. Am I going to upgrade them? Potentially. I'm going to test one for sure. I'm going to upgrade at least one. It's probably depending on how it operates and if I can dictate where I'm going to play at. and when I do play, and when people I know that are using my tanks play, then definitely I'm going to want to upgrade that node, that area to benefit those people that are playing with my tanks. If I can do that, like if I can manage that, I like that a lot better. That gives me the opportunity to say, hey, I want to create a great spot for people to come and play here. I want to have the best upgrade ability for my tanks, for the people that are playing with my tanks. I want to have that. When you talk about, it's another thing to purchase to add on, and that's what it seems like. You don't have to. You're still going to earn everything else that goes along. You just may be able to make a better experience for people if you're able to upgrade. And I think what it can do is it can position them away from what I think they dislike, which is people that are only looking to calculate in what my return on my investment is. I mean, we talked about it in the paper that I posted a while ago of the Roy Boy side, right? And I think when we just say Roy Boy, it encompasses way too many people, because 99% of the people that came into Gala for, to be a part of Gala was, hey, it's play to earn. Okay, well,
right.
What am I going to earn? So people are calculating it in there. Where we don't want to see is all they're worried about is what is my return on my investment, because I'm not here for the games, right? So we can't lump everybody in because they're worried about what they're going to get as a Roy Boy, right? I love the games.
That's true.
I'm excited about them, but I'm also earning from them. I put a shit ton of money into them because I'm excited about the program and excited about the games. So, and the nodes, going back to that there, I think it will add a complexity to it that could potentially make it so, it's not the traditional person that's only looking for ROI. It's the guy that can come in and hopefully make a better experience for everybody that's playing within that. And I think that's cool. And Legends Reborn, I think that's what they're trying to do with the land and Legends Reborn, the arenas
and the taverns and those sort of things.
Yeah, I think is they want people to manage those and be a part of those to make those the best place for people to come and play, not just I purchased this and it sits there. Well, what am I going to offer these people? I want to bring them in here. I want to give them what I can do to make it a really cool experience, right? So maybe that's what they're looking for. I think that's overall.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And, touching on the, Roy Boy thing you talked about, I think anyone that, is in this space to any degree, if you're analytical, you're probably going to do that on the side. You're going to calculate, okay, just for my own curiosity, what does a return look like? I bought this because I like the game and I love playing the game, but everyone still has that in the back of their mind. I mean, it is anything that has that monetary value to it, especially if you're getting up into, the ancient legendary caliber of some of these NFTs. Naturally, there is some, I wonder what I could make on this potentially.
Okay.
And
now, granted, I bought the tiger just because I wanted the tiger.
Yeah,
the tiger's sick.
Really damn cool.
I didn't give a shit about what it did.
And you got to have some of that as well. I think, there has to be,
for sure.
You have to have both.
And they will. The thing that I was trying to portray in my article was that they're a part of the system. The people that are only there for literally just return, or they're just flipping NFTs, they're going to be there, right? Whether you change everything now and then bring it back and do that kind of stuff, they're going to be there. You brought it to crypto and just natural human, ideas of how they're going to approach this stuff. They're going to be there. So let's implement them in a way that we know they're going to be there, and it's fine.
Yeah.
And we can create an environment where it's more beneficial for everybody that, is providing quality. And I think that's what they're trying to do. So
do we want to talk about the maps and nodes, like example? Like,
sure, bring it up. What do you got?
So, I mean, I'm just, repeating what Bitbender said on the AMA. And it clicked for me. And that was like, imagine if there's, 100 games played in a day, and there's, 10 planetary nodes and 2 maps. Well, each of those planetary nodes will run 10 games, and each of the maps are going to run 50. And with the maps, they automatically recycle. So they're each in their own individual queue, and so the map will get matched up with a node, and then immediately go back into the queue. And so you could have, 2 maps if that was all that was in the ecosystem. Each of them running 50 games in a day in that example, where each of the planetary nodes would have 10 games in a day. And so I would see that as being still beneficial for holding the maps.
And I like that they've structured, people. One of the questions that kind of kept coming up over and over, I think just because there was some confusion, is, okay, what's the benefit of, maps versus nodes? Because they both have this ability to earn passively to that degree. And,
right.
The fact that they, maps are finite, and they will continue to be finite, Nodes, on the other hand, because they're providing the overall support for the whole ecosystem, they don't know what that cap can be, because it has to be able to scale with the demands of what's out there. So from my initial perspective, maps are way more valuable.
Yes, exactly. And they're both necessary. Like I totally get the planetary nodes. I mean, that's how you're running the game, and you need flexibility. And the maps are just land, and that should be finite.
Right.
So,
well, I think one of the things that, again, when we bring up the return on investment side, people were looking at what these maps cost, and they were upset with the nodes, going to be taking a portion of what in the beginning was, when they talked about just maps were going to be the thing too. Like that's where a lot of the earnings were going to come to play, and I think they still will. That's fine. But when you look at the store value of an uncommon is 257,000 gala. I mean, I don't have a calculator in front of me.
Let's see.
I don't even know what the gala price is.
Oh no, it was around 5 cents last time.
Yeah, 5.5 cents. 5.5 cents.
So $14,000 roughly.
So 14 grand for an uncommon. Which, yay for me. I got that in my node drop. So
nice.
That was good.
But you could buy 7 nodes.
But
for that price.
And I think that's probably why they've released, the cap on.
You're buying 7 nodes for that price?
Couldn't you? Because nodes are going to come out at
so nodes are going to come out at
$2,000 to start.
Gotcha.
With every 100 being sold, there will be go up by $100.
Yeah, ends at 5,000. I had 5,000 in my head. That's right.
And I think part of the reason they probably capped that as well is, because, especially compared to like the price of a founder's node, because of the upgrade mechanic of nodes, I wonder if that's why they kind of made these a little bit comparatively cheaper per se, is because they probably know a lot of people are going to upgrade them. And so they know they're going to have that extra revenue on the back end.
Right.
So I wonder if that's why they've made them a little bit cheaper on the front end. I also don't know, do you upgrade them through Silk?
They haven't said that, but I would assume so. It's another burn mechanism.
Yeah.
That's the other interesting. I mean, I think they started low too, is because Townstar nodes, I think they started at 10K.
Yeah, that's what
I think they realized, like, well, let's maybe not start at 10K.
It's a lot of money for a non-investment.
Well, and
exactly,
it's something that doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
I mean, even if we take investment out of it, right? We're looking at, what does it do?
Nothing.
Right
now.
What did it do before? Nothing. So, I mean, it's the hope that it's going to do something, and we're going, because there's a lot of talk that went into those Townstar nodes of what they can do. That's why I'm actually kind of excited for the upgradability of nodes and doing a lot of stuff, integrating it within the game. I mean, that's cool. I mean, that's why with Nerd Node, we want to make sure we can maximize the, all the hardware that our clients need, is because, they're going to be running these nodes, and hopefully they're going to do a lot of work.
Yeah.
And we want to be able to benefit the entire network with that. So that's cool. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
The one thing I think will be interesting to see as well is, traditionally, outside of, making sure you're maximizing your uptime, all of your requirements are met to get your daily reward allowance or whatever that may be for, say, a founder's node. It seems like these have a lot more hands-on work to be done compared to traditional nodes out there that are more just passive. This seems like, there is more community engagement, in that entire.
That's the hope, right? That's the hope. That's, we want everything to be able to be ran through the node network. We want those nodes to do actual work. It's not a strong node that doesn't, there's nothing that's really going on in there. So That's what we want to see.
Should we talk about ev.io before we finish?
Hell yes, we should talk about ev.io.
Got me excited now.
I'm getting a lot of shit within the channels because they're like, actually, somebody was like, "Do you own ev.io or are you running?" I was like, "No, no, no,
No, we just like it.
I'm just talking a lot about it because it's honestly
fun.
the game is, we're recording this, so I'm gonna see if I can actually.
I'm on it right now.
Are
too.
you? Oh,
Yeah,
throw it
if you
over to
want to.
Wrong.
No, wrong one.
So my thing when I look at a game like this is,
Hold on. Type in ev.io, please.
yeah, let's see.
So
I want
start
to show you
over.
guys how
Just
simple.
show how simple. It's stupid easy.
When you talk about barrier to entry in blockchain gaming, if my dad wanted to play Townstar, he wouldn't have the first
Good
clue
luck. Yeah.
on how to set up a wallet, set up his Gala account.
Well, you don't actually have to set up a wallet.
Okay.
You have to set up an account though. So you have to set up an account. Just like if you went to Epic, you have to sign up an account. It is a little more confusing. Oh wait, you're playing already? That's
Oh
weird.
yeah.
Yep.
Look at that.
And
Already playing. I already have my skins attached. I'm already earning E.
actually, you're earning me E, I think, right?
Well, I
Oh,
earn
is
you,
that the one you rented?
I earn you 25%. I earn myself more.
No, I hooked you up. I got you at 75%. That's good.
Yeah,
Oh,
they got
headshot.
they got a rental program in place already. That's like pretty easy.
Right. I mean, it's so simple. That's the best part. That's the best part about it. One is I can log in
Earn 3.
immediately.
Oh, there you go.
And you don't have to earn E.
No.
You could do this. You're only earning it because you've applied your skin and you applied a weapon. You can just get in and play. I mean, I tell the story all the time. Is my son literally I told him about it, because he helps me with my game research, and he's like, "Oh, I know about that game because that's the only game we're allowed to play on a Chromebook at school." And I'm like, "What do you mean you're allowed to?" He's like, "Well, it just doesn't get blocked." And I'm like, "That's funny."
Well, let me tell you about
School,
something
games at
really
school, right?
when I look at games, it's being someone that grew up in the early 2000s, addictinggames.com was the front runner for these sorts of kind of just easy access, free. Back in the day, they were all flash games. Now it's kind of transitioned away from that model. But I mean, me and my buddies would spend hundreds and hundreds of hours from the just thousands of different games they have up here. I mean, when you talk about an industry leader in the world of computer games, anyone between ages 20 and 28 will know Addicting Games.
Wow.
And the fact that
I missed that boat.
the fact that you can, EVIO is the first one that pops up. It's that sponsorship that they have with Addicting Games. They understand free to play offerings because every single one of their games is free to play, and there's thousands of them.
Well, then how do they make money?
Ad revenue. And so when you look at, okay, how do you generate money for a game? How do you, if you're going to have a play and earn model, how does that really work? And so what EVIO has really done well is, okay, they capitalized first and foremost, they wanted to make a fun game. They wanted to make something that was free, easy to play for anyone that wants to play it, follows that kind of Halo or Destiny-esque PvP style. And they did a great job with it. And then on top of that, they're like, we could add in some really cool earning capabilities for people who want to go that extra step and who want to have the customization ability of, attaching different skins of NFTs and things of that nature. And you can even play it, directly within Addicting Games. You don't even have to go to EVIO. You can pop it up. Granted, there's ads.
Yeah.
But what EVIO has done to, I'm going to do this back this way, actually.
Well, interesting. They have some other backers as well that I thought were very interesting. Hut 8, which Hut 8 is it's a mining company. They mine Bitcoin and invest in a few other things. Apparently, they're one of the big investors into EVIO.
Yeah. Well,
that's one of the skins is the Hut 8 skin.
Yep.
I got a bid on it. I'm trying to get one.
Well, and what you can do, I'll see if I can find
too.
one, is the way. So Addicting Games has guaranteed at the minimum of $120,000 per year to be given to EVIO to be given back to its players.
Nice.
And that's a minimum level. And so that number has been said. They're like, this can increase. This is not this isn't a dead set. This is the minimum level. And then that pot can be increased by additional sponsors as well. So what you'll see is throughout the game, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find one right now, but there it will be in-game billboards, basically.
Yeah.
Right here. Look at that.
Stop the slaughter. Call Dr. Warren. What the heck? Read that again.
That's funny. Is this like a fake ad?
If you're bot and need a psychological help, oh, that's funny.
That's
That's
funny.
hilarious.
But that's an example of what one of the billboards will look like. It'll
love
be in-game ads of that nature.
And how many views are those getting right
So
now?
right now, those are getting 30 million impressions per month
Wait.
Crazy.
On this game?
on this game.
Really?
30 million impressions per month.
Wow. Okay.
So
That's freaking cool.
when you look at something, okay, that's how you generate that earning revenue. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what they've said is we don't want the players to be responsible for providing earnings. We
Well-
want it to be sourced.
Well, I know specifically Spider Tanks, when they advertised a long time ago and they had like the gameplay on there, they had a little billboard and it said like your ad here or something along those lines. So
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure Gala is going to be doing something similar, or some of these games will be doing similar stuff.
Yeah. And I think
I
that's a
hope
really
so.
valuable way to do it. And that's why, their connection with addicting games is so great to me, because that's how addicting games has survived for 20 years. Free to play games because of ad revenue. And it's been monumentally successful.
Yeah, it's great. Let me ask you, so what is in the game itself you earn E. Can I exchange that E?
Yes. So this game is built on the Solana chain, or the Solana blockchain. So you can exchange E for Sol. So the way it works right
Wait,
now.
so I can't go to whatever Sol's like Dex is and exchange E.
Nope, you cannot buy E. The only way you can get E is by owning an NFT or renting one through their internal scholarship program. And as soon as you have one NFT equipped, you're earning.
Gotcha.
So they've had multiple mints. They just had a mint the other week where we were able to get some of those first edition swords.
Yeah.
But that's how they've, it's complete. They have basically two different models. If you want to play for free, and you don't necessarily have that ability to earn unless you find one of those scholarship models. And
Right.
so,
Another important thing, my understanding is, gamers kind of hate the play to earn, a lot of them, because they don't like any unfair advantage. My understanding is the skins in EV.io don't give you any advantage in game. It's really only reward.
there
and
is
just looking cool,
zero
like
in-game.
in Fortnite.
So yeah, if you get a new sword or a gun skin, it's the exact same gun. It just looks a little bit different. So
I
it's
think
still a
that's really
level
important.
playing field. So it's not pay to win, because that's one of the,
Everybody hates
2K, Madden, and any of those games. Oh, it's so pay to win these days. I mean, you'll get 2K first day and you're playing in park and you're playing against guys who are 90 overall because they've spent $150 to
Yeah.
upgrade their person. And
Yeah.
it discourages people from either entering in the first place or really diving in and engaging.
Much like the Roy Boy talk, though, I think there should be games that are pay to win.
Yes.
That just implemented internally, like the same game, but here's you've paid for these special ones that do a lot of stuff. How good are you? You still
Mhm.
have to play against the other people that pay to
Yeah.
win. And now you're almost it's a race to who can pay more. It's like it's just another
It's a
revenue
different
stream.
model,
People
yeah.
will watch it too.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
it's cool to see, what they've added in terms of, they have clans that basically operate like DAOs, where you are able to earn clan points that are going into weekly competitions of
Let's
distributions.
start a clan.
We're going to start a
Do it
clan.
right now.
yeah.
How
How hard is it to start a clan?
Not.
Okay.
Just got to fill out the submission form.
Okay. Is it going to show us like what our clan name? What was? Maybe we should wait. What's our
Yeah, we
clan
gotta-
name be?
We got to think about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
We won't do it now.
But we can do it quick.
But it's those. So there's that, the community aspect. Something else they've really wanted to talk about is they've talked about gamifying their earning capabilities. So
Okay.
one of the really cool things. So just touching back on E a little bit. So in that game I just played, I was the top scorer and I earned 64 E.
Nice.
So the minimum amount you can transfer out at one point into Sol is 1,000. So at that rate, it would take me 20 games of playing
Wow, you're good.
ish to get to that 1,000 level.
It'll take me 1,000 games.
So right now they have tried to keep the exchange rate stable. So right now it's set up to where 10,000 E is $5.
Right.
And they said, as long as, the price of Sol that's what it's mainly determined on, is the conversion of USD to Sol. So as long as that stays somewhat constant, that $5 valuation is going to be somewhat constant. Obviously, if Soul shoots up to $1,000 a piece, yeah, that's probably going to change a little bit. But I think
Maybe.
we'll see. So, and they've even outlined they don't know exactly what that is going to look like. There is a formula that you can look at in their Discord that details exactly how they calculate E per match. It's a combination of NFTs held, if you win or lose, overall skill, things of that nature. But, in terms of a game that has established a successful free-to-play fan base, they've done a really good job.
Yeah, and I think when you look at like the ability to earn more from your NFTs instead of being better,
yeah,
that's always good.
That's what it, there's going to be power levels that come into play to where they've said, it's going to be difficult to increase your power level, but you'll have a higher earnings multiplier.
Well, it's already done it. I can already tell from when I first started playing this, and it was like one kill was 1E.
Yeah.
Right. That was the initial. Now, when I get just a general kill, it's like 2.5 or
and
something.
Part of that is, and there's also a global earnings multiplier that is determined on the total amount of players and the total amount of E being distributed between all the NFT
nice.
players. So they use that as a balancing method to,
nice.
Keep it somewhat constant. So you're not getting these super high highs and super low lows of earnings.
Like this is a the entry level is what gets me most excited. This is what I like to see.
It doesn't get simpler than type. I mean, you literally type it in and you click your screen and you're playing.
I've always been I talk crap about Soul all day long.
Yes, you do.
All the time, and I'm like,
you bought some Soul NFTs. So did I.
Well, I had bought Soul NFTs before this. I had a Soul wallet. I had to, so I could talk trash about it. So I at least knew about it, right?
Yeah.
Like I've invested into some Soul. I've bought NFTs. I did that whole thing, but I've just kind of stayed away from it. Just I don't know.
But even like like this is a HUD 8 skin. They already have.
What's the Soul price right now? Like $38.
Yeah,
it's 35 when I checked
somewhere about that. Yeah,
$35.91.
$35.91.
About ready to go to 40. Get ready.
But it's interesting. I think the swords were minted at 2.5. Is that what that was?
Was it 2.5 or 1.5?
It was 2.5.
I think it was 2.5.
Okay.
Especially if you were able to pull, a rare or something, those are, theoretically you could flip that right now for
right.
some profit.
Right.
And
I did not get very good polls on mine, so
it'll be interesting as well as they, each NFT has a different faction as you're able to combine and mix and match factions between your NFTs. Your earnings multiplier will increase even more so.
Oh yeah, if you have all the same faction.
Say everything you have is Ronin. You'll get another double multiplier. So really, when one kill and you're only getting 1.5 E, you're like, that's really not that much. But if you are someone that really wants to be invested in the earnings side, there are ways where you can just think about it. If playing a regular game, you don't earn anything.
Exactly.
Right. Yep.
So, and I think that was kind of their theory is, the majority of games you don't earn anything. So yeah, you might not earn a ton because that's secondary. We want a fun and engaging game first. And I think they'll have some cool things coming into play with like staking matches. Like say you have 1,000 E in your wallet. Well, you can play in a free for all death match. That's if you die, you lose 1,000 E.
Dude, people will be watching that.
Oh yeah,
it brings in.
Twitch. They already have combinations with an esports team.
Well, when you look at when you actually play, go into the game. See if it's still up for you.
Yeah, it'll reload real quick.
So in the game, or right when it starts, it has the little links on the side for people that are right there.
Yeah.
So you have followed on Twitch, Addicted Games, whatever. They have the YouTube videos for it, so you can, they're advertising that stuff for people right now. So it's kind of cool.
I think I just saw a billboard.
No, go find it.
Oh,
shields are coming soon.
But yeah, so these are just examples of the little, and when me and Michael were talking about this earlier, you kind of subconsciously notice those things.
Yeah,
it's better than just an outright ad that pauses your game for 30 seconds that you have to wait to watch. Seeing HUD 8 over and over again, you're going to start to question, okay, what is HUD 8? You look into it.
Right.
Oh, I see what they're doing in the mining world. Like that's so unique. And
I should get Nerd Note on there.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Wonder what they charge. I'll have to contact them.
Yeah, we should ask.
That's kind of cool.
But yeah, so they got some cool offerings. I like how simple their model is. I don't think it's kind of nice to see it in comparison to some of these other games that are out there that have really like convoluted models. Seeing something so simple kind of is a little refreshing, I think.
Start it simple, and then you can add complexity to it as you go.
Yes.
And that, I mean, when you look at like an Apex game, which is, the gameplay and everything that you look at, that is far and above, way better than this.
Oh,
obviously.
yeah.
It's not even on the same
No.
level. But starting with something like this and moving it into a gameplay that can rival that over the years, I think that's the way to go.
It's pretty smart.
So, well, I mean, it's one way to go. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So.
And I just like free. It's and I think they've done it, I think they've done a really good job so far. And it is still a pretty young game. I think there's a lot, even from, playing it a couple months ago, it's way smoother now than it was. And I think as they, continue to get sponsors, they have an AMA with Coinbase this afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which is,
That's
they've
huge.
said like one of their biggest.
Yeah, so they got the AMA. So all about Solana. You're gonna get the Zedek. I don't know who this guy is. Apparently, I don't follow him. So, product at Coinbase Wallet, and then you got Play EVIO and the Mango Markets. They're gonna talk today. Unfortunately, I'm gonna be out, so hopefully one of you guys can listen to it for me.
I'll watch it. Yep.
No, I'll be listening to it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we've kind of hit our hour mark, so that was a good one. So we'll leave it there and talk to you all later.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Forged in Crypto. If you have any questions or want to stay up to date on the current news, events in the crypto ecosphere, be sure to follow @Forged in Crypto on Twitter. I look forward to connecting with you, and I'll catch you on the next episode.